Ginger Rogers finally speaks out about Fred on Astaire. Ginger Rogers was born Virginia Catherine McMath on the 16th of July, 1911, in Independence, Missouri. From being a spirited young girl from the American Midwest to becoming an internationally recognized actress, dancer, and singer is a tale of her resilience, passion, and incredible artistic ability. Raised partially by her strong-willed and resourceful mother, Isla Owens Rogers, who would eventually become her manager, Ginger Rogers was brought up in an environment that fostered creativity and independence. It is in such a supportive setting that she developed a passion for dance, vaudeville, and eventually movies, setting the foundation for a career that would extend over 5 decades. Ginger Rogers' ascent to fame took place in the boisterous 1920s, winning a Charleston dance contest at the mere age of 14. This victory ushered in opportunities for touring companies in vaudeville, eventually progressing to Broadway shows where she mesmerized audiences with her natural aptitudes for comedy timing and presence on stage. Los Angeles beckoned, and by the early 1930s, Ginger Rogers found herself moving into movies, quickly establishing herself among the radiant young talents of RKO Pictures. Her big break came with her being teamed up with a young dancer named Fred Astaire in the movie Flying Down to Rio in 1933. This initial role eventually evolved into one of the greatest associations in movie history. Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire collectively revolutionized the movie musical by defining their on-screen presence through elegant dance and dramatic narrative. While they left their hallmark on consummate movies like Top Hat, 1935, Swing Time, 1936, Shall We Dance?, 1937, their association in movies stands the test of time for their sizzling dynamo of dazzling artistry, as well as their ethereal pair of screen magic. Meanwhile, Ginger Rogers was more than a dance partner to Fred Astaire. She was determined to establish herself as more than a movie actress by setting out to select roles that would adequately portray her depth as an actress. This came about in Kitty Foyle in 1940. Where she portrayed a working-class woman struggling with love, ambition, and societal expectation, finally being awarded the Academy Award for Best Actress. This established her reputation as a performer with incredible emotional depth. Decades that followed saw her excel in a dizzying number of other roles, including comedies, musicals, dramas, radio dramas, stage productions, and TV performances, evidence of her proven ability to succeed in any genre with poise and intelligence. In the wider community, Ginger could be praised for her down-to-earth personality and work ethic. She had a quiet confidence about her, appreciating her independence in an era of Hollywood where women were often overwhelmed by their associations with the film studios that owned them. Friends would often cite her warmth, generosity, and absolute passion for her work. Meanwhile, despite her levels of fame, Ginger chose to be humble about it, often publicly citing teamwork, hard work, and her own personal gratitude for what her life had brought her as the key to her own success. It is these qualities that made her a beloved performer and iconic figure in the eyes of the world, representing classic American glamour with grit and determination. In her personal life, Ginger Rogers' relationships were indicative of the strength of both her career path as well as personal. During her lifetime, Ginger was married 5 times, illustrating a new phase of her growth as a woman living through fame, passion, and personal satisfaction. Though she had had enough personal alliances to fill this lifetime, she never had any children of her own, something she would look back on with frank talk of the trade-off for her career path and hectic schedule of the Hollywood lifestyle. Her marriage came on March 29th of 1929, with her then mere 17 years of age, a youth that would still render her, or any woman for that matter, little more than a girl still finding her path in life. Instead, Ginger was quickly becoming one of the biggest names in her career path with a personality that was sublime, independent, refined, and absolutely passionate about what she did. Born with the name of Edward Jackson Culpepper, Jack Pepper would become Ginger's next lifetime relationship in 1929, who Ginger had met through her work on the vaudeville circuit. While their coupling reminded one of a young, fresh couple with a passion for their lot in life, it would be overrun with the expectation of their respective travels, as entertainers added with the rapid shifting of her personal ambitions that would practically ensnare issues from the onset. Although their marriage formally lasted until 1931, they separated shortly after their wedding, such that by the time of the emergence of Rogers' career, their relationship was no more in the limelight. Following her divorce, Rogers engaged in a significant relationship with Vin Loy, a Hollywood director and producer, in 1932. This relationship took place at a crucial point in her developing film career, but despite their strong feelings for one another, it failed to materialize into a permanent relationship. However, their relationship significantly left an impression on her life. These two developed such a strong friendship that they maintained it for more than 5 decades until the death of Loy in 1987, with their relationship withstanding the dynamic nomenclature of Hollywood. Later in 1934, Rogers entered into her second marriage with actor Lew Ayres. Ayres, who was famous for his role in All Quiet on the Western Front, was no stranger to the challenges of stardom like Rogers, such that their marriage seemed like it held great promise. However, as their careers called them in opposite directions with their personal interests lying elsewhere, their relationship declined, with both of them eventually divorcing in 1940, closing a very significant chapter of Rogers' life. Her marriage with Jack Briggs, who was a U.S. Marine with strict military training and a down-to-earth personality that contrasted starkly with that of the whirlwind of Hollywood, came about in 1943 at the height of World War II. Their marriage was characterized by lengthy separations between the couple, with one of them serving in their military while the other attended to issues presenting themselves in her film career. Despite their strong feelings for one another, the challenges would eventually drive a wedge between them, with both of them eventually divorcing in 1950. In 1953, she tied the marital knot for the 4th time with Jacques Bercerac, a charismatic French actor who was 16 years younger than her. These two initially met in Paris, that she visited with her extensive sophistication and European elegance impressive to her. Bercerac was actually a lawyer for France before engaging in an acting career before their marriage. However, after their marriage, Bercerac moved to the glamour of Hollywood with her, such that he transformed into an entertainer. While their relationship had an exciting start, adding a cosmopolitan edge to Rogers' life, it was not intended to be a long-term situation. She divorced in 1957, ending one of her more glamorous relationships. Her 5th and final marriage occurred in 1961, with the marriage to director-producer William Marshall. This relationship also got off to a good start, with creative promise, as they worked on film projects together with the hopes of developing other business ventures, such as their production company in Jamaica. However, with the pressure of their business, along with Marshall's alcohol issues and the ultimate failure of their company financially, their marriage came under impossible strain. After many years of marriage, the couple divorced in 1970, ending Rogers' own journey through marriage with a sense of resolve. For decades, fans, movie buffs, and dance aficionados were left to make endless speculations about the true state of affairs between Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, the iconic dance duos who mesmerized generations of moviegoers through the 1930s to 1940s with incredible poise and seemingly magical on-screen chemistry. Though Rogers did speak fondly of Aura throughout the years, she rarely shared any of the more personal anecdotes that movie enthusiasts were left so fervently seeking. However, in a rare, revealing moment in her latter years, Rogers chose to finally open up about what it was like for her to join forces with this magical movie legend who, together with herself, seemed to cement her own iconic legendary movie, standing with the release of their own legendary dancer movie series. Rogers chose to start by setting the record straight about what it truly was like between herself and her dance partner, evidence of which was undermined by one of the more sensationalized rumors about their personal relationship. People assumed that Fred and I were like polite strangers who came together only when the camera rolled, she remembered. But that wasn't true. We respected each other, even if we disagreed or challenged one another. This aspect of their relationship was far more crucial for establishment of any related movie or dance historical pattern or similarities, as Rogers continued to point out. Their relationship worked so well not merely because of some shadowy recognized dance or movie familiarity that could be either superficial or merely imaginary on their fans' or observers' behalf by both parties involved. No, it worked because Rogers' own dance duos were far from like one another. This is, of course, until they became one in dance, Rogers further illustrating. Fred had this incredible driven perfection. It was like he had this laser focus that never let up. And then I had a mind of my own that equaled his. When these qualities clashed, sparks flew. Not the romantic sparks that folks often dream of, but the sparks that bring art to life. She talked about the grueling practice sessions that would often go on for hours, long after other actors would be gone for the day. A gaze was notorious for demanding multiple